Okay.
We are going to talk now about Paper Towns. Now, I never read a John Green book, never seen a John Green film, of which there are now 2 after Fault in Our Stars last year. So I wanted to kind of know what people thought about John Green and his work. So people got in touch, and I'm really grateful for that. If you want to get in touch with us, you know how to do that. Sparksund on Twitter or #SparkFilmShow. If you know me on Facebook, then just
send us a letter by Raven.
Drop us a message. You know where to find us. Tabby got in touch to say, I love the book and can't wait for the movie. Obviously hasn't seen it yet. The book was brilliantly written with amusing moments that make me laugh and tender moments that made me think. The only drawback I can think of is I had to reread a few passages a few times to completely understand what was going on, and once or twice had to break from reading the book completely so I could picture what happened in the book so far. So it's good that it's sort of painting pictures in the mind.
Well, that's what a good book should do, really. You need to take your time and...
Yeah, and Jay kind of explained John Green on the whole. Hasn't read Paper Towns, the only one he hasn't read yet, but I'm sure you'll get around to doing that soon. Young adult, usually with a hard edge, cancer, death, meeting with online strangers, neglectful influences, strange women with odd secrets. The protagonists are almost exclusively male, and always intelligent, even in the smallest way. He writes with dry humour and often breaks fictional conventions, such as writing annotations and footnotes. Yes, he can feel samey if you read his books back to back, but I love him and his work. And that's just 2. There are a lot of people who really, really like John Green's work. So it's no surprise.
At least people got in touch.
Yes, and we're very, very grateful for that.
He's always on Reddit.
What, John Green?
Yeah, he always offers people books and stuff.
Yeah,
free books.
He's a YouTube vlogger, isn't he? He's the Vlog Brothers, John Green.
He actually offers people free books on Reddit.
He's done it a few times, I think.
Wow.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, good guy, John.
Good guy, John.
So what was your thoughts on Paper Town there, Ryan?
I haven't read the book either, and I haven't read any of his stuff, but I do know there's like...
We should also explain what it was like walking into the cinema.
Yeah, our most awkward moment of
date.
last year was walking into 50 Shades of Grey last year, which we reviewed on our podcast. If you want to,
you should go check that out.
We go see a lot. So we walked into that with a few of our female friends as well, and it was
separately though.
Yeah, separately.
Yeah, I sort of tried to set it up so we could all go in together, but it didn't work like that.
It didn't work out like that, and we go in and
they ditched us.
We were we were literally the only 3 males of our age in the cinema
who weren't with a female.
We weren't with a female. So there's 3 guys on their own in the middle of the cinema. Behind us, you've got sort of the gaggling sort of 18 to 25-year-old crowd, and then in front of us, you've got sort of these whooping and hollering sort of middle-aged women who just drinking constant wine and just
selling wine in the cinema.
Yeah, going. Ooh, I literally heard "ooh, missus" at one point. Like,
take it off.
It was such an awkward moment. Like that was really bad. This wasn't anywhere near as bad, but it was still pretty bad because we're walking in, and as we walk in, the door creaks, and suddenly about 50 heads turn around and look at us, and then obviously they didn't really ignore us, but it was still awkward. The room
fell silent.
Yeah, because there's 3 guys walking in there as a bunch of women ages like 15 to 25, just nobody above that. There was like one old guy at the front.
It's the most full we've been at the Gateshead one.
Yeah. So it was pretty awkward to walk in there, but I mean, we weren't expecting. We know what this kind of film attracts the audience. We've all known about Fault in Our Stars and how that's supposedly pandering to, and that ending, which is supposedly heartbreaking.
Supposedly very good though.
Yeah, I guess.
The advertisements were fascinating. When it's mainly female centered. Some of the adverts put like that Cara 91. Never seen that before.
Oh yeah, before the film, it's all strangely female centered.
I have never seen that done before, where they play the movies, then like it goes black and you think, okay, film, boom, another trail.
Yeah,
never seen that.
They used to do it with Bacon. But that was quite general. This is targeted. That was
That
was unusual.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was very interesting to see.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how different target audiences get targeted, pretty much.
It was the same for 50 Shades as well. There was a lot of shampoo. Not generalising. There literally was a lot of shampoo and hair colouring and things. They clearly
different
knew
motions.
who was going in for it. Yeah. Anyway, Paper Towns.
Paper Towns directed by here's another name, Jake Schreier.
I think it's
Schreier.
Jake
Schreier. I'm going to say Schreier. That sounds natural. Directed by Jake Schreier, starring Nat Wolff and Cara Delevingne as the main couple in the film.
Actually, I think it's Delevingne.
Isn't it Delevingne?
I don't know.
Delevingne.
Okay.
I don't want to ask in case she snaps.
Yeah. Next time we'll get Google Translate on it.
Right, that's a good idea.
We'll go. Then we'll get the right pronouncements.
That is always the best.
There we go. That's going to be our 4th member of the group. Google Translate.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. So we pick up a story in Orlando, Florida, where Quentin Jacobson, nicknamed Q, played by Nat Wolff, who's a multi-talented man. I mean, he's got a song in the film.
Yeah, he's a jazz musician.
Who lives next door to his childhood friend called Margot Roth Spiegelman, played by Cara Delevingne.
Whatever.
I
don't think it matters.
Quentin's been fascinated with Margot ever since he moved in across the street, and as young children they were best friends, doing all the usual stuff like riding bikes. And as a young sort of duo, they found the corpse of a man who committed suicide, and that started Margot's fascination with mysteries.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that looked like
it was odd.
I know, but it was like the childhood fascination, you know. So that started her fascination with mysteries, and we flash forward to present day Margot, who are now, and they're both high school seniors. They've drifted apart. They never speak to each other. She's in the popular crowd. He's got he's in the lesser crowd.
Your typical nerdy trio.
Yeah, your typical nerdy trio. However, he still has feelings for her, but she's totally just ignores him. One night, Margot appears at Quentin's bedroom window, and they plan to take revenge on her high school friends and boyfriend, who has been cheating on her and has betrayed her. And she convinces Quentin to help as a getaway driver and offer assistance. And this film really is, it's your typical coming of age film.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about this is that it didn't go the direction I thought it was going to go. Like, essentially, because I expected this was going to play on the same sort of beats as a film for like this target audience was going to go. You know, it would have that sort of emotional sort of relationship that would go through, and then it would be sort of going off in a different direction, and it would come all happily together at the end. It doesn't do that. You know, it doesn't. I don't want to get too much into the last half an hour here, but it doesn't go the way that you would expect. It makes sure that plenty of the film has its own pace, and you know it's very involved in what it tries to do. And I'm not a fan of Cara Delevingne. I'm not. I just don't rate her. She's got one of those weird faces. Like, you know, she's
not quite an actress. This is her first film role. It should be said.
I don't know. She's all right. I just don't rate her as an actress or like as a person. She grates with me.
As a person.
Yeah, she grates with me. I don't know. She seems capable enough, but I just don't rate her. I don't think Nat Wolff has much charisma either in this, and they do seem to have a decent sort of relationship going on, but I just don't think individually they have enough charisma on their own to play along. And obviously you've got the creepy friends of Nat Wolff's character in there. Like, if you've ever seen The Room, like the nerdy friend of him is he's sort of playing Denny from The Room, like a younger version of that. It's really creepy at times. They're trying to get he's trying to get with one of Margot's friends, Lacey, to go to prom with him, and it's really quite creepy. And like eventually, like he ends up going with her to prom somehow, despite him being
without any sedatives.
Yeah, like so creepy. And
of what we saw.
That is true. They did cut away.
Yeah. And then you've got this other kid, Radar, who's also Quentin's friend. I liked him. He was sort of probably the most mature all of the lot. He's got a relationship with somebody. But really, it's obviously, like, it gets to be a road movie eventually, because Margot goes missing, and he's basically being left clues to go and find her. So they take a trip across to New York to find Margot. And it is sort of, it's charming in the fact that it tries to be above its material at times, because this is a very basic script for me in a lot of it, but it does try to elevate itself above that. It's got some really good lines in there. I like some of the stuff it does with the camera. There's some really good moments with the soundtrack as well. I really like the flourishes, especially there's an M83 track which keeps playing throughout, and I really love that. Really, really love that. Obviously M83 is part of the go-to for ambient sort of stuff, but I really do like the use of this. It felt original. There's a scene in the car with Margot and Quentin early on, which I know you loved, especially Liam.
Yep. I think I might play that song on the podcast.
Yeah. But I just loved how it constantly tried to be inventive and stuff, and it doesn't wrap itself up in a bow at the end. You know, it's open quite a lot of it, and there is quite a lot of, you know, sort of new stuff within it, but I don't think it frees itself of the chains that it sort of has within the genre to make itself individual enough to really be something special. I do think this is very, very cut by numbers. I'm not slating it. It's not a bad film. It's just not. It's not good enough to be great or bad enough to be horrible. It's just there. It's not as average.
It's just there.
It's not as average as films like True Story and The Gamble that we've seen this year. It's a film that has some good moments, but it never elevates above what we thought it was going to be.
Put yourself in the shoes of its target audience.
I think they'll love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is essentially it's a classy coming of age film that has enough moments to subvert what it's trying to do. But for me, as someone who's obviously not in that target audience itself, it just doesn't elevate itself above what it's trying to be. It's not cliche most of the time, which is fair enough to it. But I just don't think it didn't strike me, you know.
Yeah, go on, Joe.
It's kind of a new take on the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, because she's not in it for that long. Obviously, because she goes missing and stuff, but I don't know, usual coming of age, you know, there's more to life than blah 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 blah, we're going off to college, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff that you know about. I mean, the road trip scenes were kind of fun, you know. Well, like obviously Margot's friend Lacey, that's that scene with the Pokemon scene and everything. Obviously, it's more of a, and I kind of felt like some 80s themes that we feel like in the future it'll be like that for the modern day, if you got what I'm saying. But
I don't know, it just feels like
it's just saying it. I guess. I'm surprised at the ending, because what usually happens in John Green stuff,
Yeah.
doesn't really happen that much.
No.
It just, the characters were relatable enough. There were some great funny moments, and it's not bad. I'm saying it's pretty good, but for me, it's a solid 6 out of 10 rather than a 7 or 8. It's not something I'm actively going to be searching out again. But for the target audience, and if you just want to see something light and heady, something that's trying to be, it's full of optimism. That's for sure. It's one of those films that you just come out feeling thoroughly optimistic. But it's just not special enough for me. I think I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to see something light, I would.
Yeah. I mean, also for anybody who is a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's a little unintentional thing in there. Like you'll see it and you'll notice it. We were the only people laughing in the cinema when that happened. But that was,
we got it. That's all that counts.
I'm prepared to give it a little bit more credit. Really, I mean, it is quite standard, and there's a few little surprises. I liked how funny it was. There's a few little jokes, particularly at the start of the film, as they're kind of introducing Radar and his family.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that joke. That was funny. There's a weird sort of divide of the film. It's sort of like 3 films glued together. You've got the opening bit where it's sort of the revenge tale, then you've got the middle bit where it's the thriller where they're looking for the clues, and then you've got the last bit where it's a road trip, and some of it works, some of it doesn't work. It's interesting, but I really like Delevingne, her sort of illustrious, like untouchable, like they're committing all this criminal activity, and she's just like she feels like she's completely above the law, and she's this sort of magical manic pixie dream girl. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I know teen book fans are quite staunch in their opinions, and they may or may not like it. I'm sure that one little thing could be different from the book and they may not like it. I don't know, but I sort of liked it, and I didn't feel too bad that I'm not a teenage girl. I could kind of forget that. And
she wanted to be a teenage girl.
I didn't feel too judged as the film started.
Did you feel like a 12-year-old girl?
The teenage girl inside you loved it.
You get you get sat down and you feel the uncomfortableness, but then you kind of get into it and you're like, I don't need to be.
You don't need to be 12-year-old girl.
Don't need to be a 12-year-old girl. I liked it for what it was. I mean, it's not the best thing I see this year, and there are other teen films out there. But if there are people who haven't seen a lot of teen films yet, then this is an okay starting point.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Keep it down.
Another thing that is